Welcome back to the show. Hopefully, we've worked out everything. How are you doing over there?
I'm okay. Hey, at least, I'm really happy that I'm the first to go through this. This is gorgeous. I love it
Why is that?
that we're
What?
doing this together.
What?
That we're going.
You know, that's so funny. Funny that you say that, because I was thinking about this morning. I was thinking about how we get so stressed out about making things perfect, and about getting things lined up. And the truth is, number one, no one really knows what it should look like. It's all in your head, really. You
Yep,
know,
it
it's
really
really all
is.
in your head. And yeah, and you and I talk about this thing being ready, and I have some views on. I wanted to ask you this because you're a fellow, and it's a very interesting story how you got into the set of Black Panther, and we're gonna get into that in a minute. But I want to ask you this question right off the bat before we jump into anything here. Um, what do you mean when you say I'm always ready?
So what I mean is, I'm always ready. Is that I have to be willing to be able to be available for whatever and whenever. So basically, at any moment in time, any opportunity can hit, and if you're not ready to take that opportunity, that could be your chance of between success and failure in life. So when I say I always stay ready, it's that I am ready for whatever at any moment, any time that it comes. It could be at 3 in the morning, and like if someone knocks on my door and said, "Hey, it's time for you to go out here. It's a chance to make $1 million." I already have my slippers at the door. Like I'm ready. I'm always ready to go at any moment's notice, because that is that one little aspect could be the moment between success and failure. So I always stay ready, no matter what.
Right, right. For me, and like I said, I thought about this because, sometimes we say things and we haven't really processed, because we know what we mean intrinsically, but cognitively, and did we actually formulate a thought? Do we know what we really mean when we say that? And I thought about it this morning for myself,
Mhm.
and because I am also that personality that I'm always ready, you know. And what it means for me is being psychologically ready.
Mm.
Because the thing is, sometimes, like today, for instance, for the show, is everything set up and perfect the way I would like it to be? The answer is no. But psychologically, I'm going to jump right in, and I know you're that kind of person
Yeah,
too, and we're going to jump right in, and we're going to make it happen, and whatever happens, that's exactly how we wanted it to happen.
yeah,
We make things happen, and
we
I
do it
and,
our
and I
best.
think it's a psychological.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. And okay, so we're here with Jarrell Pyro Johnson, and Jarrell is an actor now turned filmmaker. He's a director, producer. He's done a lot of. This man has more credits than I've seen that has come across my desk here for folks wanting to be on the show. You have currently 26 credits on IMDb and 13 pending, which is a phenomenal amount. A lot of times I talk with people, and yes, maybe they have a lot of credits there, and I ask them, so what's going on now? Well, I've got this production here and that production there, but 13. I mean, you're very busy man, and I want. And you're going to tell us how you keep all those balls balanced. Now, you're from Compton, California, lived
Yes.
in LA, you were in LA, and now you're in Columbus, Ohio.
Yes.
So I want to go first to talking about you came out from Compton, California. And when I say that, a lot of people who know what Compton, California means, they understand what that means. So I
Right.
want you to tell us what that meant coming out from Compton, California.
Well, for me, Compton,
Go
California,
ahead.
I don't, it's different now. I would say it's not as bad. It's a lot more happy. But I mean, I will say this before I even get to my life in Compton. We have horse stables. I mean, Compton is very rich in land. I mean, there's cowboys and horses. It's really crazy to think about that.
Right, right.
But growing up in Compton, California was a little hard. It was very gang territorial. You had one gang
Mhm.
rivaling, rival. They rivaled.
Rivaling. Rivaling.
Can't smoke today. I'm like the technology for some reason. So you had
Yeah,
one
yeah.
gang rivaling the other gang where I lived, and I lived on one side, so it was always violence back and forth. So not to get too sentimental, but to think that it wasn't
Mhm,
possible for a child to make it out of Compton, California before 20 was a thing. So to
mhm,
even make it out after 20, even now looking back at it, is a blessing. But growing
mhm.
up, I lost a lot of friends. A few of them went to jail. It wasn't a possibility to our minds.
And when you say lost, you mean they died.
Yeah, yeah, they died.
Right, right. I wanted to clarify
Yeah,
that because when you say I lost some friends, because for me, I travel a lot. And so I tell people I lose a lot of friends because I travel. So I want to distinguish that
yes.
for everyone listening, that when you say that, you mean something totally different.
Oh yeah, definitely. A lot of them died. I mean, a lot. The friends on traveling losses, it might be a good thing sometimes, but this one,
Mhm.
no, it's very
Oh,
hard.
it is.
Right. So just growing up in that area, you kind of don't. It's like a glass ceiling. I like to say it's like you can see that you can get out, but it's still a
Right.
ceiling, so you don't know how to get out.
Ah, that's an interesting analogy that you just used there. I've never really heard it put that way, but that's very interesting because I think what happens with people, especially people growing up in those types of situations, they feel powerless. They feel that
Yes,
I can't get out, and they accept that. So it's so very, and I think, I'm going to go back to what I said earlier about a psychological readiness. So I think that's what distinguishes people who make it and people who don't.
I agree.
That you have to see that it's a glass ceiling. Even though you don't know quite the how, you have to know that it's possible you can get out.
Right.
And I think that makes a difference right there.
Yep, that's exactly it. You have to find a way to break.
So,
It's possible. You just have to figure out your way to break the glass.
right. And how did you do that?
Well, honestly, my grandmother. My grandmother scared me more than any gang could
You had
ever.
some help. Okay.
Ooh, my grandma was scary, bro. Like, I mean, it's true. My grandma was crazy. She's from old school Alabama,
Right.
so she's from like the South back in the day. So she
Uh-huh.
was very strict, no nonsense. So she was very like, you are going to make it. So she helped me
Mhm.
for sure. I,
Mhm.
of course, we have our own free will, just like with God blesses us all with free will. So I could have chose to keep
Right.
going down that path. However, my grandmother,
Mhm.
I respected her journey. They came to California from Alabama at 16. I just wanted to be and make them proud. So that was my
Mhm.
why, basically at that age, not even knowing what a why was. That was my why to get out of get out of that area, that mindset. And from there, I did good. I took college classes while I was in high school. I did everything I needed to do to get out to make them happy.
Right, right. So you had an impetus. You had two things. You had that you wanted to to please someone, and you had someone keeping their size 13 planted in your rear end.
Yes,
So you had a little bit of extra drive and push
yes,
to make it happen and
yes.
get out of there. Okay. So did you leave Compton? No, you started acting. Tell us that journey of getting into film. What got you into acting?
Well, acting was an accident. I like to say acting found me. I did not want to be an actor
Mm-hmm.
ever in my life. I wanted to be a basketball star, a
Mm-hmm.
football player, a rapper. I wanted to do these things because in
Mm-hmm.
Compton, that's all I saw my peers doing. So I was like, well, if they can do it, this is how you're supposed to do it. This is how you make money. Um, but
Right.
after college, my mind changed a little bit. I moved back to LA after I went to Hampton University in Virginia. I moved back to
Mm.
California, and I wanted to make music. So my goal was to make a music video because at that time, music videos were cool, but it wasn't possible to do it on YouTube. So I wanted to make my own music video. So
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to find people to help. No one could help. And in my mind, as I've been growing up and knowing what I've known, if I want something to happen, I have to find a way to make it happen. So I said, hey, I'm going to make my own music video. I'm going to direct my own music video. I'm going to cast my own people. I was literally becoming a filmmaker and an actor, not even realize what I was doing. I just wanted to make music. So
And how old were you at this time?
this was 16.
You were
This
16. Okay.
I've been in
Okay.
entertainment my
Go
whole
ahead.
life though. Like I love music since I was 6, but movie and music and multimedia wise, that way it was definitely 16. Um,
Right.
so I was like, I wanted to do
That
this.
I was going to say that's so funny because that's the age I started to.
Really?
And what I have found is that the more you and I talk, there are so many similarities because one of the things that I'm noticing about you that is me all the way is that I am the same way. If I want to do something, and I heard you say just now, no one was helping me. I'm the same way. I
Yeah.
don't care if you either you want to help or you don't. I don't care. Either way, I'm doing it. Just so
Go
we
ahead.
know. And
Yeah,
I
it's
just
gonna
get
happen.
into it and start doing it.
I love it when I
And I
love the
think
naysayers
that's
though. I love it when they say no, you can't do it or it won't be possible, and I'll be like, yeah,
that yeah, that gets me going too. It's like, okay, you sit over there and watch. Yeah.
right. Just
I'm
watch me
going to
work.
get this. Exactly. Exactly. So you started doing so you're a musician.
hmm First, I've always music
Okay.
is my number one passion, and I love it because it's an
Mhm.
expression. I love to. I didn't have a lot in Compton. Between me having my bad friends, the only way I could express
Mhm.
myself was through music. So that was
Right.
my expression.
Mhm.
It was my only outlet. It was like my therapist. It was my way of talking and getting through my thoughts. So music was always
Mhm.
number one. And then I was just like music video, and I became an actor. I put it on YouTube. Manager found me, and she said you should be an actor. I said no. She said yeah, just try it. Went out for one role
Okay.
as an extra. Next thing you know it, I got promoted. This first film ever I've ever done is called Glassjaw. It's on Amazon Prime right now. Um,
Mhm.
I did
It's
one
called
film.
what? The
It's
glass
called
jaw.
Glassjaw.
Glass jaw. Okay.
It features there's a rapper by the name of Boosie, Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite,
Mhm.
John Grease is his name. There's a lot of big name people in this film, but I went on as an
Mhm.
extra. They liked my face and said, "Hey, we want to give you a role." And from there,
Mhm.
I met the people on set that led me to other films, and it's just been a domino effect just by saying yes. That's a whole nother conversation, right?
And just by being ready,
By staying ready.
staying ready psychologically.
Yes.
You know, it's so funny you say that. I'll tell you why. Because in my line of work, I pitch a lot of people. I pitch proposal ideas. I talk to a lot of people. What my father always used to say to me, it is so easy to say no. And
Mm.
I have found this to be true. There are so many people, you pitch an idea, and the first their go to is no. And they
Oh,
will give you all the reasons why they can't do it. And the reality really is number one, you're not ready, and you're not ready psychologically because you don't have the confidence. That's all it comes down to.
exactly.
That is
Or
really
you're
all it
scared.
comes
Or
down
you're
to.
scared. It's
You, the confidence, yeah, you're
yeah.
afraid you're not going to do it because you know
Yep.
you in your mind. For people like you and me, and this is the thing, and again, this comes back to the psychological aspect of it of being ready. In my mind, I'll do anything. You say, hey, Ina, do you want to do this? You're not going to hear me say, well, I can't or I don't know how. I'm always, let's make it happen.
Let's do it.
Show me. I'm sure
Yep.
I'll figure it out.
Yep.
You know, it, what is the worst that'll happen? That it doesn't come out perfectly? I'm not shooting for perfect. I'm shooting to make it happen.
Make it happen. And you
You
know what? That's funny because I feel like everything that comes into our lives at the moment that it comes into our lives is meant to come to our lives at that time. So if someone came
exactly.
at you with a certain thing, that something you were supposed to hear, and you chose whether to abide by
And you
it.
shut the door.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. You shut the door, or you can say yes, and who knows where that leads. Because the funny thing about it is that sometimes someone comes to you with an idea and you say yes, and you get into it, and they see something else in you, and they say, okay, that didn't work, but I think you're perfect for this over here. And that leads to something entirely different that you did not even imagine because it wasn't there. It wasn't part of your frame. But
Right.
then it became because you walk through that door and you say, sure, let's have a look, let's have a try. And then next thing you know, you're on to doing something
Exactly.
totally unimaginable. You absolutely love it. Wouldn't have done it if you hadn't said yes to that opportunity.
Yeah,
So
I know me and
it's
you
just
talked
like
about this. We talked about this the other day, and it goes back to the law of harmonious rhythm. The law of
right,
harmonious rhythm.
exactly,
When you follow harmony, is going to life is going to be life. The rhythm is going to go
right,
anyway. Whatever you give the rhythm is going to turn it. So if you give it the great harmonious and follow the flow and be positive and give positive light to it and just say yes, like you said, the yeses will become times 10 and times 1,000 and times 10,000,
exactly.
100,000. But when you say no, that same bad words effect could happen too. So it's just you have to
Hmm.
say yes, and the yeses will keep multiplying always.
Right, right. The yeses are what lead you to all the other things. But and for me, I call it getting in sync with the beat, finding your beat and
Yes.
getting in sync with it. Because that's the other part of it. If you're moving against that beat, it's like swimming. I don't know if you're a swimmer, but if you
No.
get in that water and you find it's very hard and you're heavy, well, two things could be happening. The chemicals in the water making the surface, the water tension hard. That's number one. But
Mhm.
then you as a swimmer, if you find that flow where you're in sync with the energy in the water, you swim like a fish.
Yeah,
But if you're swimming against that energy, it makes it so much harder.
it
Running
does.
is the same thing.
And I think that's one of my
You
issues.
find that heartbeat.
And it's kind of like when people say, "Oh, I'm out here
Go ahead.
grinding." You hear that a lot. When people say, "Oh, I'm grinding," and it's like,
Yeah.
"Well, why? You're not supposed to grind. You're supposed to flow. Like you don't go against the current. You follow the current. Like it doesn't make any
Right,
sense hard because you're grinding. Like
right,
why would you go against what's
right.
exactly
Precisely. If you're grinding, you're working too hard. And it's funny because I'm an Argentine tango dancer and I get on the dance floor. And a lot of times I find people are, like you say, grinding. And what that means to me is you're working way too hard. This dance is two bodies supposed to flow, but we're
right,
not flowing because you're working way too hard. Just relax,
right.
flow, feel it. It's music, it's interpretation, it's just feeling the other person. It's like a conversation. I'm
Hmm.
sure you've been in conversations where you feel like you're not hearing me and you're not listening to each other, so you're not flowing. I
Right.
feel it's the same thing with life, that you're either going to flow or you're going to fight. And when you start to fight, yeah, that's where you're grinding.
Life is a
Yeah.
dance. I
So
like.
yes, yes. So that's a lovely segue. I want to talk about because you were on the set of Tyler Perry's set there where they filmed Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. And you have a very, very interesting story, and I want to share this with the world of how this happened for you. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't ask me for that video, by the way. I wouldn't have wanted to send you that.
Well,
Thank you. So basically, I made
it's
a
okay.
after Black Panther 1 came out, me and my friend made a video called How to Be Black Panther. And the goal was literally saying that
Hmm.
anyone can be Black Panther if they put their mind to it. You don't need to have superpowers. The superpower is within you. It's whatever you believe in. And real quick, there's a scene in the commercial.
And that's similar. That's fun, similar to the message in the Black Panther. So go ahead.
Right, right, exactly.
Yeah,
Like everything just
yeah,
works.
that is the message. But you knew it before. That's funny. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So basically, there's a scene in the commercial where he's like, "Just don't freeze," and Black Panther drops down. He says, "I never freeze." So basically, just to make it to tell you what I did is I put on a mask. I went outside in 5-degree weather in Ohio. It was snowing, and my friend is like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm becoming Black Panther." He's like, "No, you're not. You're still you. You just have a mask on. Come in the house, you're gonna freeze." And I was like, "I never freeze." That was the concept. But anyway, so basically, I willed myself as Black Panther back then, even before I knew they were going to make a Black Panther Wakanda Forever. One thing led to
Right.
another. I got a call. They told me to go out to Tyler Perry Studios. I don't know.
But you put it on YouTube,
I put it on
right?
YouTube.
You put
Yes,
this
sorry, I
this
missed a step. Yes, I
right,
put it on YouTube.
right.
And
Mhm.
I don't think it got that many views, but I guess the right people saw it, which is like you were saying
It just
earlier.
takes
I
one.
just did it. I didn't care
Hmm.
about the quality because the quality is terrible. It's still there. You can look it up. It's terrible. And I kept it there on purpose. But it's just about doing it. So I did it and I
Uh huh.
put it there. I put my feet in the street. And next thing you know it, I got
Right.
a call and they were saying, come to Tyler Perry Studios. Man, I didn't know this was for Black Panther. I don't know.
Right.
Actually, I didn't even know it was Tyler Perry Studios. They said, just come to this
I was
place.
just about to say you didn't even know it was for Tyler Perry's too. You just
I had
got a
no
call to
idea.
say show up.
Right. Just
Right.
show up.
Right.
And I said
And
yes.
this speaks to again being ready and saying yes. So you got a phone call and you just say sure.
I'm there.
Go
I said,
ahead.
yeah. I don't know
Yeah.
what I'm going for. I've been to Atlanta maybe once as a child, never before again. So I said, it's a trip. Why not? Worst case scenario, I had a trip and it was fun. And I got
Right.
to fly.
Right.
So I got there. I found out I was at the studio, and I'm like, I don't know why I'm here, but let's go. My name was on the list, which was cool to go up there. And I said my name, and the security guard said, and I said, yeah, that's me. And he's like, oh, right this way. I got in there, went to a set. I saw a costume, and I'm like, what is this? So I looked at it, and I put two and two together, and I was like, wait, because they were like, oh, you're here for summer break, and I'm like, I don't know what that is, but okay.
That was a code word, right?
That was
Summer break.
cool. Summer break. So I was like, I guess. So when I got there, I saw the outfit. I put two and two together, and I'm like, they making a Black Panther too? I'm like, oh, like so, and that's literally how that happened. I put it out there and I manifested it. I believed I was Black Panther. I believe I was in it. I believe it was me, and it became that of what I believe.
And this is the story of your whole life, how this has happened for you. Again, you've been acting for what, 8 years? You've been in the film industry 8 years.
Whew, yeah, it's been 8 years.
You
Yes.
you need some more fingers there to count. You good? You good?
You're
8 years.
yes.
Are you running out of fingers? So you've been doing this for 8 years, and you have 26 credits there already and 13 pending. And I'm sure you have more that are not really showing up yet on IMDb. And that's amazing for an actor. Um, but it just points to exactly what we're talking about. It's just A, being ready, saying yes, and B, manifesting it, just seeing it and manifesting it. Because again, like I said, not just in the film industry, but in my travels around the world and everything else that I've done, I talk to people all the time, and this is so very, very, very common to hear people say, "No, I'm not ready. I can't do it." You will get a million reasons. I've come to the point that I don't even listen to the reasons. I tell them, okay, is it a yes or no?
Right.
No, I don't want to know the whys. I just want
Right.
yes or no, so I can move on because it's very exhausting. And again, it comes down to confidence,
Yeah.
and you call it fear. For me, it's confidence. It's the same thing. You're
Right.
afraid. You don't have the confidence. Whatever it is you're afraid of, the fact is you don't have that confidence in yourself that you can navigate anything
Yeah.
and come out fine. Because it's not about coming out a winner or successful, it's about doing it, because you don't get better unless you do it. It's like I always say, you can't make omelets without breaking eggs. It just
Right.
doesn't
I
happen.
like that. Yeah.
Try it. You
Yeah.
can't. So
Possible. Yeah.
you have to jump in, you have to break eggs. That
Yeah.
has to happen
I love how
before
I
you
love
can
how
get an
similar
omelet.
we are in mindset. That's awesome because like, a lot of people say, "Oh man, I'm at D," but it's like, "Well, how did you get to D?" It's like you can't just go from A to D. You have to go to the B, which could go here, to go C here, to
Right.
get back on path to go D, but you have to take that chance. You have to flow. You have to go with the journey and the rhythm because if you don't,
Hmm.
you go backwards and then you'll be on numbers when we're on alphabets.
Right. Right. It's very similar to a child. If you look at from the time you were born, you have to crawl
Yeah.
before you can walk. Those muscles, it's a muscle, and anything else in life, it's a muscle that needs to be developed. It's a process. It's a
Right.
developmental process. And whether it happens physically or mentally, because a lot of times we could take in the information, digest it, assimilate it, and then jump into it and start putting it out. So whether it happens physically or mentally, it still has to happen.
It has to
There
happen.
is no, like you say, getting from A to D. There
Yeah.
has to be D, there has to be B and C, and
Mhm.
then D.
Right.
So it's a process, and there's no way to it unless you do it.
That you do it.
Yeah.
And I think that
So
that could be, and I know
yes.
you want to segue. I'm sorry, but I feel like that's what a lot of
No, no,
people are.
no. Go ahead.
A lot of people are trying to figure out what are they missing, and a lot of people are missing the middle. They think that there's just a beginning and an end. They're missing the steps in the middle. Like people forget that you have
The
to
map.
fail to succeed. Yeah, you can't just jump the map. You have to travel. Like, and I think that's the problem when people can accept that they have to fail. They have to,
Right.
or it
Yeah.
won't be possible to win.
And I think that it's the term that we use, because we say the word failing and people go, oh, that is
Yeah,
horrible. I can't. Um, let's rework that term. Call it whatever you want to call it. You
right.
know, the map, the process, the whatever, but
The
you
trenches.
have to
I
go
like
through the what?
the trenches. The
Trenches. What
the,
did you
tren-
say?
the trenches.
Yeah, the trenches,
Yeah,
exactly. You could swim it, you can crawl it, you can walk it, you can build a bridge. I don't care. But you have to cross it.
yeah,
You have to cross the trenches to get to the other side of the bank, which is the side where things start to happen and develop.
exactly.
So I think society has really planted that in our mind about success and failure. And so we have this negative connotation about the word failure.
Right.
But for me, I love failing,
Oh yeah.
because failure is growth. It's
E-
growth.
Yep.
You don't, success doesn't just fall in your lap. It's growth. It's
And the
growth.
thing is, you wouldn't even know what success
So,
was if you didn't fail. I'm sorry, we're staying on the. You wouldn't
thank
know success like
exactly.
you wouldn't
No,
even
no, no,
know.
you're right. You're right. You're exactly right. Right. It's like they say, you don't know what love is until you've felt hate.
Oh,
And
that's
that's
deep.
absolutely true. That is true.
Yeah.
Because if you ask, you hear people say this all the time, oh, I love you, I love you. And if you ask any one of them, what exactly does that mean?
Mm,
They can't tell you.
nope.
What does that mean? And you can't really define it. It's like light and dark. Can you appreciate light? And you can't until you've been in the dark.
Exactly.
When you've been in the dark and fumbled and fell and done all these things and been terrified, you can appreciate light. So it's those opposites that we must experience to be able to understand what it is that we really want. And it's like you just said, you wouldn't know success unless you knew failure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it must be experienced. So you were on the Black Panther, and I went back and I watched that film, and you're gonna have to point, because the truth is, with all the makeup and the costumes you guys are wearing, and
Yeah.
you all look like this great big warrior, to be
Like
honest.
apes. We all
And
look
I
like
was
apes.
sitting there going, where is he? Where is
We're all
what?
gorillas.
Exactly. You're all gorillas. So it was very interesting. But now I know you had a lot of preparation, and I don't know if it's just for this film, but you do a lot of work in the gym. And do you do martial arts? I believe you
I do not.
got into
I do
some
my own stunt work, like street. Like I mean, I've done like stunt work so far as
streets.
martial.
Okay.
So if it comes down to like stunts,
Right.
we'll train with someone for that. But I don't per se a
Hmm.
martial artist. But if it was a stunt that was
Hmm.
required, then I would train with a martial artist or a street fighter, and I would probably get injured pretty badly. But it's worth it in the end. Failures to succeed.
That's part of the breaking eggs. That's part of
Right.
the breaking eggs.
Yes.
Now, right. So, did you prepare when you did Black Panther? Was there a preparation? I mean, I know there's a preparation of manifesting it, but was
Yeah.
there a physical preparation, or
The first
you were ready?
The first time, no, because I didn't know what I was doing. um,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
when I went back, I looked different. That could be a reason, actually.
Hmm.
Huh? That makes me think of something. But yeah, when I went back, I kind of changed the way that I looked because I was like, okay, well, I know what I'm going for now. So it's like,
Hmm.
God gave me the placement. Now it's like, how do I keep my placement? Because now it's on me. You
Hmm.
know, the
Hmm.
universe did its part. Now it's my turn to keep and maintain that part. So afterwards, yeah, I did a lot of working
Hmm.
out. I mean, we're talking about intermittent fasting, 1 meal a day, in the gym like five days a week. Actually, seven. Excuse me. I was in the gym every day. It was off and on between weights,
Hmm.
um, and then cardio. So weights, cardio, weight,
Hmm.
cardio, every day, and eating 1 meal a
To
day.
keep your physique
Yep, and
and stamina.
a lot of vitamins. I
Right.
was taking vitamins I didn't even know even existed. I mean, we're talking about names that I can't pronounce. Like,
It's okay. It's okay. We'll
I
look
should
them
have
up.
done that. Like my favorite ever. That rhodiola. I mean, I can go down a list of everything I was taking.
Right, right. But again, this comes back to, and that's another thing that I'm glad you're sharing this, because this is something also that people fail to understand, that it takes work.
Yeah.
It's not just going to happen. You don't just show up on a film set and say, "Hey, I'm an actor, I'm ready to act, let's do it." No, there's a lot of work that you're laughing already.
I wish it was like that.
I know. Wouldn't that be easy? Oh, hey, I'm all groovy. Let's do this.
Right.
But
There's not a
yes,
million other me's out
there.
here just trying to do the same thing. No, it's just me.
I mean, and you had this physique before. Am I correct? You
I
worked
did.
out. You look great, and that's exactly why they picked you.
Right. I was ready. I stayed ready.
Exactly. But then you still had to do more when you got the role,
Yeah.
because that's a lot of stamina to sustain as a warrior and
And
being on
you've
that
seen the movie.
set.
We moved a lot. I mean, there was a lot of movement. There was a lot of
Of
a lot of
course.
and a lot of us did our own stunt work. I mean, we had some stunts, but the more A-list actors had stunts when the C-list actors
Uh
or the
huh.
D-list actors had to do their own work, which I actually appreciate. As an
Hmm.
actor, I would rather do my own work anyway. It just it's a part of the process. It makes it feel more real and genuine when I did it versus
Training.
stunt person.
Train.
So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm curious, and I'm sure other people listening are curious. Tell us a little bit about the stamina and what it takes to be on that set and be in a film like Black Panther, which is predominantly, it's a warrior type film.
yeah.
So tell us a bit about that.
It's drooling. It's tiring. Like it's a lot. Like I mean, you literally, it's all day. I mean, we were there. I mean, it was a lot, and then there was times we flew back because that was during COVID. So you have to have the stamina
Hmm.
and the mind too to go back and forth between Atlanta to wherever you live. It's a lot. It's a lot of mental. You have to get your mind
Hmm.
right for one. I was heavy reading books constantly, music on the side, getting hyped up and ready. Like it was a lot of information. It's a lot going on. Then you're there all
Hmm.
day. A lot of movement, a lot of running, a lot of fighting. But you said the best thing is to avoid crafty the best way you can. I mean, I know you want to eat the craft services.
To avoid what?
The craft services, I call it crafty. The craft services on
Uh-huh.
set, they have all the good food. I know you want to avoid the
Oh,
food,
gee,
but where are those
I don't
sets?
go there.
Because you're
I
literally there
don't
all day,
know.
and it's in and food. I, food makes you tired. So if you're eating a lot of
Hmm.
food while you're on a set fighting and doing choreo and grappling and kicking and socking and all this stuff, eating is going to slow you down. So that's why it
Which is
helps.
besides, it's not good food.
It's not. I mean, no. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah. I mean,
no,
no.
it's
I'm
it's
trying to think about it. No,
it's
no.
processed food. It's
Yeah, not good.
processed food.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, the food
for
is great.
me,
You
I
do
stay
eat.
away. Yeah.
The omelets were amazing. When you do eat, it's great. But I don't.
Hmm.
You just have to pick your times because me doing one meal a day fasting, I was already prepared. So when I'm on there, it's like I don't need to eat. I can go all day, which makes me different from
Hmm.
every other actor because everyone is like, I need to eat. I'm starving. I'm like, I don't eat till 8 o'clock every day. Let's go. I'm ready. I'm always ready. Always.
And that again is a training. Intermittent fasting. You talked about that because that's something I do quite. And it's so funny. I've done what they call intermittent fasting. I guess I've been doing it my whole life because that's my life. That's how I eat. I don't, you see, a lot of people are constantly snacking.
Yeah.
That requires too much from your body. You're pulling too much energy to constantly be processing food, which is besides, it's not healthy for you. But we don't want to get into that health conversation right now. But this again, it's all the preparation that you do in
Yeah.
addition to preparing your physique, going to the gym, doing that work, doing the mental work, reading the scripts, knowing your role, fat, keeping your body healthy in terms of food, because like you said, that slows you down when you have to be constantly in action.
And you have to get
So
your
so
mentality right
I'm
because
so glad you.
the biggest thing a lot of actors don't realize is the mentality. Because any moment they can cut your scene, they can cut your part. Everything you studied for can be deleted. You have to have your mind right. You can't be affected. It can't. It's not
Right.
personal. You have to. And a lot of people don't know how to take their personal out of it. It's not about you. It's about the bigger picture. When, especially on a
Right.
bigger set like a Disney set, like it's not about you. So you have to have your
Right.
mind right to know that at any moment you can be cut, sent home. It's just what it is.
Hmm.
Just what it is.
Hmm. Hmm. And you're absolutely correct. I have, in a lot of the productions that I've done, the directing and casting, I've seen that happen quite a
Yeah.
lot. You cast someone in a role where you think they would fit best for the entire production, and they thought that they were groovy and they should have gotten that role.
Yeah.
And then they become upset and they kill their chances of getting on that set because the ego was affected,
Yeah.
and now they don't want to do the product. Yeah, that's in the business. You can't.
And then like that, but
You,
everyone, even no matter where you are, someone's watching you. So especially on a set like that,
precisely.
someone sees you.
Hmm.
Someone knows what you're doing. Like you're being watched always. So if you over there treating someone like really bad on the side, someone sees that and knows that.
Right, right. Yes. I remember Terry Crews has a similar story about
Mhm.
how he got into acting, where same thing, because he's a pretty built fella like you, who did all the preparation, and he was on a set as an extra, and same thing happened.
Yeah.
He was put to, in his mind, it wasn't the best role, but he checked his attitude and said, you know what? It's a role. I'm thankful for it. I'll go in and do it. And then he got picked up very
Like you
quickly
said,
from
it's
that. One
ego.
thing led to another.
It's all ego.
It's
Like
ego.
like you said, it's
Yeah.
that once you drop that ego, and you know what I've
Yeah.
told someone this before. Once you can admit that you don't know anything, that's when you learn.
Hmm. Precisely. Precisely. I walk into things telling people, tell it to me like I'm two. because I
Yep.
have no idea what's happening here, but I'm willing to learn. Tell it to me. I'll jump right in and go with the flow, but forget about anything I know.
Yeah.
Let's go in. I don't know. This is a whole different scenario. Let's go right in and do it. And that's what makes you ready. And
Yep.
that's what makes you teachable. And I think Michael Jordan's coach said that about him. The greatest thing about Michael Jordan is that he's teachable.
Yep.
And that's the problem. That's what prohibits a lot of people from getting jobs. They're not
Yes.
teachable. Yeah.
Yes.
In addition to not being ready, they're not
Yeah, let me teach
teachable.
you. Yep.
That's a problem right there. And speaking of teachable, now you did a film and it's right now in production, right?
Hmm.
It's your own film that you're working on,
Yes, my first
correct?
one. Yes.
Yes, your first film. And when I looked at it, I think of you as a warrior in Black Panther.
Hmm.
Was
Just
there an inspiration there from it? Tell me.
well,
Was there an inspiration?
I never realized how similar these characters are, but they are. And I guess I've always been a
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
warrior. I mean, my whole life I had to fight, you know. So I mean, I am, and that sounds very cliche. I love that, but I've always been a warrior
mm-hmm.
anyway. So I don't know the way it's called Dinner with the God of War. It's a fan film. The way that came
Yeah.
apart is so yeah, it is a video game. But I changed the narrative and the story a
Mm-hmm,
little bit. And that came apart because I went to a school not too long ago and talked to a few kids who liked Black Panther. So I went to talk to them about Black Panther, and they were like, "Well, we would like to make a film." And I said, "You can make a film about anything you want. You just have to do it. Like you said, you just have to put your feet in the street. You just have to make it happen." And it was like, "Well, and I was
mm-hmm.
like, what's one of your favorite video games?" And they said, "God of War." And I said, "Huh." And then I thought about it. It's been in my brain before to do this, so it was just the universe putting it back. Like, okay, here it is. This is now your fourth time. Make the God of War thing. So I was like, I should do it. And they said, yeah, they're kind of similar anyway. So I said, literally, they almost wear the same outfits. So I said, I've done this. I'm already in this role anyway. This has already been my character for the last 4 years. Well, not
Right,
4 years, sorry,
right,
it's like 3 years. So I'm like, I might as well just do it. So it was an easy transition. I just literally became the same person, just turned gray.
right. I love that. I love that film. Let's roll it. I'm going to
You
pull
got
it
it.
up right now. We'll have a look and then we'll come back and we'll talk a little more about it.
Dad, can I ask something?
Atreus, you are my son. You may ask me anything within reason.
Before Mom died, I overheard a conversation you had with her. You told me you wouldn't let me grow up to be like you. What's wrong with being like you?
Atreus, I have done things in my life that no man should ever do.
You mean like killing people?
You speak as if you know the answer to that question.
I know what old blood and battle damage look like, but you can't keep telling me it's normal wear and tear, or you just found those weapons.
Unfortunately, Atreus, killing will always be a part of your life. And if you let it consume you, it will turn you into something dark. Something sinister. And if you can't control it, it would cause you to hurt people that you love.
What about dogs? I saw Mom, she said, dog killing would suck.
As I have said, there are things in my past that I have done that no one should ever do.
Why would you kill a dog?
There is so much you need to learn of our family.
What else is there to know?
So much more. More about my wife and about your sister.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Now, again, watching this, I felt like I was still in Wakanda.
Yeah.
It really, I mean, you like you said, you were still in character. You reckoned, I'm
Mhm.
doing this, stay in character, and do this. What is? Tell me what Dinner with the God of War is about.
So, to make a Yao Ming story, Gary Coleman, basically, it's a video game, but it's based. Kratos is the main character. That's who I'm playing. Basically, he was cursed with the ability to kill all his enemies. However, his
Hmm.
consequence of this gift is he had a bloodlust. So that means whatever he came in contact
Hmm.
with, he wanted to kill. Unfortunately, he ended up killing up the village that he was from and killed his wife, his sister. He killed the whole village. So he's been literally cursed with this bloodlust, and he's trying to find redemption. And it's hard because
Mm.
literally he's killed his family. Like that was his family. Like, and that's how it starts. But in as it ends, he ends up finding a new love and a new son. And the reason why this relates to me is because I have a son. So me talking to him, Liam is his name, who played the kid, was kind of like me talking to my son, because now he's trying to find redemption, and the only way he knows how to find it is through his new family that he's made with his son. And that's why this
So,
film was so impactful for me as well. And also, I feel like it's a story that needs to be told because there's a lot of us out here that need to find our own redemption. It might not be a kid, it might be whatever our redemption is. And I feel like that's why this needs to be told.
and so the boy that's playing your son in this film, he's not your real son, because I know
No.
you do have a son that's
Yes.
similar age.
Yeah, actually,
How old
they're
is your?
really good friends. My son is 11, he's 10.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, very similar. Yeah, because when I first saw it and we had spoken, I thought it was your son, and I've been meaning to ask you that. But this boy in the film is not your son.
Yeah, but I talked to him
But
and
he.
this is the first part. I talked to him the whole thing like he was my son, and it's funny because they're friends, so constantly they're
Mhm.
playing, and I'm like, I want to talk to him, but it's the same, like, ugh.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Now, I know that something that's very important to you is the male role model, and especially coming out of Compton and the things you experienced. And I have a sense this was the impetus behind this film, and there's a message in there in this film. Tell us about that.
well, basically, come from Compton, like I said, the glass ceiling. I never want to put anyone in that glass ceiling. I mean, to an extent it's good
Hmm.
because it makes you want to desire more, but if there's a chance to make a better life that they don't have to go through what I went through, I would like to do. So
Hmm.
my goal was to always give my son an opportunity that wasn't given to me. So, like for instance, my son right now probably has an. I would probably be for sure he has an 810 credit score, because my
Hmm.
goal is to make his life easier to an extent that was easier than what I had. Like when I grew up, I would have loved to know that I could start my own business at any moment in time, just because I wanted to. I could live my dreams. So my goal, even in this film, I would like to show the next generation that whatever you want, you can have. And you just have to just know that it's possible. I didn't know it was possible. Like I just saw everyone else do it and I want to be like them. But I want to make it where now children under 15 can be like, I can grow up and be great. I don't have to be that person stuck in a house between rival gangs. I don't have to have that life if I don't want to. I can turn and change and go a different opportunity. I don't have to be a rapper. I don't have to be a basketball player. I could be a filmmaker. I could be an artist. I could be a graphic designer. I could be a clothing designer. I could be whatever I put my mind to. And that's what I want my son to see. And I also want him to see that whatever you start, you have to finish, regardless.
Hmm.
Whether it's perfect, like he was saying earlier,
Accountability.
yes. And honesty. And honesty.
Yeah.
Be as honest as you can.
Hmm.
And that's
Right.
literally all this is about.
Acknowledge. Yeah,
Yeah.
acknowledge certain things about yourself, acknowledge where you need growth,
Yep.
acknowledge the weaknesses and work on it and move on. move
Yeah.
on. But your life, your entire life is that model for people. I mean, anyone looking at you, and I remember you told me that when you did that presentation at that school, it brought tears to your eyes
Oh God.
because it was very humbling for you.
Yeah. It
So
was disheartening only I mean it was not disheartening. It brought me down. It humbled me. I was already a humble person, but the fact that and I'm getting emotional. Lord Jesus, we might have to cut.
it's okay. It's,
No,
we can get emotional.
no, because I still
It's
see the
human.
I know. I still see the kids to the day, and it's like the way they ran into me. I was rushed, and it's funny because all the security guards like, "No, no, don't rush him," and I'm like, "No, bring him." Like, I love this because like I was that kid, and I saw myself in that eye because no one came to my school and talked to me about opportunities, and it was possible to do more than just be a basketball person or a rapper. No one came to me, so when I was doing it, it's kind of like I was talking to myself. But
Mhm.
it just made me cry because it was just like, man, like these little kids, like they all have potential to be great. We can all be the next Elon Musk, the next
Mhm.
Warren Buffett's and Jeff Bezos and all these people. It's just they have to know that it's possible because most of them don't even know that it's the glass ceiling. They don't even know that it's a way out.
They don't see it as a glass ceiling. They see it as a box.
They see it as a
And
box.
and yeah, and they can't see past it. And they're
Right.
thinking there's a limit to my potential here.
Yeah.
So on that note of all things being possible, with this film, where do you see it going, and what do you see it doing for you? The doors that, because on this show, what we look for and what we promote and push is that international collaboration, and we're looking for the exchange. We want to be a portal for a exchange of cross cultural ideas and instruction. And like you said, you were in the school and you were teaching these students that things are possible. And from my perspective, again, your entire life is that instruction. So, where do you see this being a vehicle for you in terms of globally?
Well, this film itself is kind of like my it's like my grand opening basically.
Your debut?
My
Right,
debut.
right.
Um, basically, so this film was not about making money. Honestly, I'm gonna do a few film festivals with it. And the reason why I was a fan film is because I didn't want to make money from it. I just wanted to show these children that I could make something that they thought of or that they didn't think was possible. I could just make something with little to no money, and that was the goal of this. This was not to be money. This is literally about attention. This is about spreading the message of I am a person from Compton, and we made a film. And I hired a bunch of people that were better than me, and we became a family. I mean, I have over 60 people in this cast and crew, and we all have became a family through this whole 8 9 month process of making this film happen. So it's just to show possibility, and also it's to show that I am really ready and I'm serious to make my mark on bigger and better films. I'm already started writing my next film, and it's about black
Hmm.
Superman. Like I'm ready to go to the next level.
It's about what?
A black Superman.
Black Superman. That's funny because you said that, and it just reminded me. Today's Juneteenth.
Yes, it is.
So it's so interesting that we're having this interview about the Black Panther, and you're talking about a Black Superman. Every time I talk with you, there's like so many things. It's this dialectic that goes back and forth, and you prompt ideas, and I want to ask questions. I want to talk because now you talk about Black Superman, because one of the things that was playing in my mind, this actor, martial artist I had mentioned to you, Troy, that's in Beijing, that we
Mm,
talked about the rematch where he would get to fight against Bruce Lee, the
yeah.
fellow that played Bruce Lee. And it started formulating in my brain that it doesn't have to be a Chinese person. So then I started visualizing you as Bruce Lee and fighting with Troy and having this rematch with
Oh,
Troy. And it's interesting because now you're thinking about this film, The Black Superman, and at the same time you're currently on set with Michael J. White. Am I correct?
well, no, we finished that.
You're doing it.
We did it
You
though.
finished it.
Yeah, yeah, and that's coming out. I think that's coming out September. That's a Netflix movie, I believe.
I think you told me that September
Yeah.
2023.
Hmm.
That film is coming out, and that film was called. I wrote it. The Outlaw Johnny Black. Is
Yes.
that it?
Yep, that's it.
Okay, and that's with Michael J. White.
Hmm. That's a
Now I
lot of
think I told you I absolutely yeah, but I pop open a film for him. I mean, the man is phenomenal.
Oh, he's
You
great.
look at his size.
Yeah.
You look at his size, and then you see this man lightning quick, and you're thinking, what just happened?
What just
You
occurred?
know,
Yeah.
he's just. I know. So, is he going to be in your film, The Black Superman?
I mean,
Did you talk
hey,
to him about that?
let me not say the answer that I don't want to say. Let's just say if the universe wills it to be, I will accept
Huna?
it. I will accept it.
Okay, Michael,
If
if
he's
you're
too
listening to this, we want you. Yeah, I'm just
He has his
saying
own production company. Yeah.
because again, he hasn't what?
He just opened up his own production company, so that
S-
would be really great.
Look at that! Look at that! And Troy from Beijing, the martial artist, we're having this conversation, and then I want to get on the line with Kirk Carouette. I don't know if you're familiar with him, one of the veterans and stunt performance
Oh,
in Hollywood, and I want to get on the line and chat with him and see because I think we're onto something here. I think
yes.
we're cooking. And another LA filmmaker that was on the set a couple weeks back, two weeks ago, I think, David Cordelia, and he does some amazing thing with special effects and that sort of thing.
I
So
love it.
talking with these people and what they're cooking, and my brain starts to cook, and so a lot of
Making a
things
film.
cooking. So I'm putting it in the universe. I'm just saying,
Love it.
Michael J. White, Bruce Lee, Tyler Perry, Lionsgate Studios. Let's get everybody
Get
involved.
involved.
Marvel, right?
Let's do a gumbo. Why not?
Yes, with Robert Downey. I recently learned that Robert Downey Jr. was into martial arts.
I can see
Did
that.
you know that?
I
He's
didn't, but
been,
I can see it.
yeah. I recently learned that he's been doing that. What is that style? I'm gonna
Capoeira, capoeira,
Wang
capo. Is it?
Chung,
Oh, one.
not capoeira.
One
No,
chum,
no,
one chum.
Wang Chung,
That's the
right?
one that.
And he's been doing it about 10 years now.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
now I can see that because of the role that he plays in the Marvel
yep.
that what is that show again?
And Iron Man.
Avengers.
Oh, Avengers. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Iron
Yeah.
Man. Isn't he he's in Avengers too, isn't he?
Well, not anymore, but he was. He's Iron Man. I mean, he's always
Oh,
gonna be
he's in
Iron Man.
Iron Man.
So yeah,
Right, right. He's an Iron Man. So yeah, that's interesting. Again, the preparation that goes into it, and then suddenly the role pops up. So, Black Superman,
yeah.
you and Michael J. White, you never know. These things happen.
You never know.
Put
You
it
can't
out
say
there. Never
can't say
know.
that.
Maybe you manifest that again. You film that, throw it on YouTube, and
I
who
mean,
knows
hey,
who's going to see that? Daniel Lee might see it. He's a major filmmaker for those Chinese films. But why? Before I jump into the next thing, because I really want to talk about. I know you do, in addition to film and all the things that you're in, you do. excuse me. Funding.
yes,
You're a financial advisor, financial coach, and one of the big things that you coach people on is funding for their productions, which includes film. Am I
right,
correct?
correct.
Because the next question that I would ask you is, how do you keep funded for all these films? Because you're in a phenomenal amount of films, a lot of them you're producing, directing, this sort of thing. So I want to talk about funding. Before I do that, I want to open up. I reckon Charlie is in the queue and might have a question. So I want to open up to see if Charlie has any questions for you. Charlie, are you there?
Yes.
He might be getting his mic. He might be getting his
Hello, Charlie.
microphone. Um,
I haven't met him, and I love him.
okay. Well, I think he might. Yes, here he comes. There he is. Charlie has a question for you.
I have done theater. Oh my god, yes. I almost forgot I did that. I love theater. It was called. Do you remember the old film with Patrick Swayze called Roadhouse? Of course you do. You have to. It's Roadhouse. Okay. So we did it in Long Beach, California. We did a show called Love, Thunder, and Dynamite. It was a parody theater play of Roadhouse, and did stunts for that, and I acted in that, and that was probably the only one I've done. But it ran for about maybe 4 months, maybe constantly, and it was fun. Actually, it was probably one of my best set moments of life. Actually,
Wow.
yeah.
And it,
My son, that was easy. Um, my son actually, and I don't want it to be. I wish I had another answer for you for that because there's so many other cool things.
oh
But
no, that's a super answer.
I think my son is like the highlight. Yeah,
Thank you. Thanks, Charlie.
really.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
that's funny that you mentioned, and in all the times we've talked, I didn't even think to ask about stage because coming from, I think when you look at a lot of the really good actors in film, they have a stage background, and that's no coincidence
It isn't right.
because
That's weird. Yeah.
there's no coincidence. Yeah,
Huh.
because it's two entirely different
Yeah.
settings. When
Yes.
you're on the stage, you have to go through that character arc, the entire thing. When you're on
Yeah.
film, you're filming it in pieces. You don't go through that. So you don't fully embody. It's harder to fully
Yes.
embody
I want to say it's
that
way
character.
harder to do. It's harder to be staged, but it's more fun. It's harder, but it's more fun
Yes,
because you can create your character in
right,
different ways every day. That's your film.
right.
That you're performing.
And maybe it's harder because on that stage, you actually have to transform. You have to go through that transformation. In film, because it's filmed bit by bit, you can get into, as they call it, getting into character. Some actors just stay there when they're filming
Funny.
a
I
set.
have,
They
I
just
have
stay.
I have a lot of funny moments from stage because in stage there is no do-overs. So if you get hurt,
Mhm.
you have to deal with it and you have to put it into
Exactly.
your action. Like because we did a lot of stunts because it's Roadhouse, so it was a lot of fighting. So like there were times that I really did get hurt and injured, and it's like, oh, like you really feel the pain, and the audience could be like, oh man, I think he really got hit in the head. Like I think this is real, but it's like you got to keep like,
Yeah.
oh, it sucks. But yeah, fun,
That's the
hilarious.
thing about live performance. Yeah. And in the industry, in the entertainment industry, there's the back side of it that a lot of people don't know and don't really see
Mhm.
and don't understand, which is it doesn't matter what's going on with you today. There's a show and you need to get out there and perform. Um, there was a production with Chris Brown where, and I don't recall, I think it was the one where he did a Michael Jackson. I
Oh,
don't
I know.
quite remember the
It was a
performance,
Christian
but
movie,
he
I
was
think.
in red.
Yeah.
He was in red, and for that performance, he actually, when he was doing a lot of the jumping, he twisted his ankle.
Oof.
Immense pain.
Yeah.
And if you look at that performance that he did, he was on so much medication. It was unbelievable, but you
Yeah.
couldn't tell. You
Yeah.
couldn't tell
The show got
because
to go
these are
on.
things as a, huh?
Yeah. The show has to go on.
The show has to go on. People paid tickets, the show was advertised, you perform. Unless your heart stops beating, you get out
Yeah.
there and you perform.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, even on set, because people think it's a film, we can reschedule it. No, no. The very first time you do that, you're cut,
Yep.
you're done.
I've seen it.
If you're on set, even as a background, and you say, "Oh, my head hurts, could I sit for a minute?" They'll say to you, "Sit for the rest of the day. In fact,
Yep,
sit for your
bye.
life."
I've seen it.
Yeah, you're done. Yeah, you're done. Yeah.
I've done it. I hate
And
to
I
say it.
think
I've cut people, and I even hate to admit it, but I've cut people that've been like, "Oh, like, I got no.
you
I don't
have
want to hear
to.
no excuses." Yep, no
You have
excuses.
to. And people think you're mean, but that's the industry and that's the readiness that we talk about. That if you're not psychologically ready, unless you're squirting blood, even if you're squirting blood, bandage that thing and keep going.
I've seen, hey, I've
Wrap
seen
it
people
up.
on set. I've seen people on set bleeding still for their mark. So,
I've I've done it. Just wrap that thing up, camouflage it, and keep going.
yep. You know, when I
Yeah.
think of stuff like that, I think of one of the best, one of our greatest heroes of our time, and a lot of people don't agree with this. Kobe Bryant. He
Kobe
played
Bryant.
basketball no matter what. He could have the sprain, and he can't. Like I think that when he made 81 points, like he'll and then he'll still perform at his highest capacity, even
Level.
broken. And I'm like, if Kobe can do it, it's just
That's the Mambo mindset.
yes,
That's
yes,
the Mambo
yes,
mindset. Yeah,
yes.
Mamba mindset. Yeah, yeah,
Mamba, yeah, the black mamba. Yep.
Mamba. I said my brain is on dancing. I said Mambo. That's the Mamba mind. I'm a dancer. What can I say? That's the Mamba mindset. Yes,
Yes.
that you have to do it. You get out there. You perform to your peak every single
Yep.
time,
Every
and
time.
that's a practice. That's really a practice of just continuing to do it, and your body gets so used to it that it doesn't feel all the other inhibitions. You're there, you're doing it. It's like a rehearsal. You constantly
Yeah.
rehearse muscle memory. You're just performing it. Yeah.
Yep.
So I want to talk about, tell us about this financial aspect, how you keep funded, how you keep your projects funded. And I know that that's not even something we can cover in just a few minutes,
No.
but I do want to get into it a bit of how you do that.
Okay, so basically,
Go ahead.
the reason why I started financial coaching is because I know a lot of people wanted to do what I do, so far as make films, or not just that, but make music or do a lot of things. A lot of things that stops us is money. So yeah, I do pitch decks all the time. I also ask for money all the time. I am not Elon Musk out here. I do ask for help all the time.
Hmm.
However, it's like you were saying, if we want something to happen, this is how me and you are. This is how people need to be. They want something to happen, you have to make it happen. So I had to
Hmm.
teach myself, and I just teach people how I taught myself. Because if it worked for me, it'll work for you. Guarantee you, there's no secret sauce. It's none of that. It's literally I had to teach myself how did I get money. Who has my money? Basically, that very Grant Cardone is my money person I look up to. He's a billionaire out of Florida. He always says who
Hmm.
has my money. He believes in 10x. So my goal is I need to find out who has my money. As of now, the only people that I know can give me money that has my money is a bank. So my goal was how
Hmm.
do I find money from a bank? So my goal was to credit. Credit was the best way because a bank will give you money based on if you can show good habits. And if you get it from one bank, another bank will match it, and so forth and so forth.
Right.
And then you pay it back with the funds you earn, so you keep your credit in good standing. That's literally it. So I found a way to teach people how to raise their credit scores because when I started in this, my credit score was, I say worse than the drug because it was under 420. My credit score
Hmm.
was worse than the drug. So I, I had to find a way to boost it. So I did a lot of studying, a lot of reading, a lot of time reading my own self because I wanted I wanted to find a way to make it work. Got my score through the roof. Found a way to ask for money from banks, and literally use that money to fund my dreams. I say I have
Hmm.
fun funding my dreams, and then if you can show even people when you ask for help, if you can show that you can provide your own 10,000, someone will match your 10,000. If you can show you can provide your fifty
Hmm.
thousand, that's how life works. Whatever you show you can do, someone will always match it. So all I do is teach you,
Hmm.
not just film in anything. You want to start a hair care business, a makeup business, a clothing line, graphic art, whatever you want to do. If you can show that you can put up your own money, Because why would I give you money if you won't even invest your own money in yourself? Like that,
Exactly. You have to have skin in the game.
right? Like I'm not. You don't even trust you. Why would I
Right.
trust you?
Right.
So
Right.
my goal is that's what I do. I teach people on the side how to fund their dreams, basically, how to start their own businesses and how to
Hmm.
fund through investing, stock market, housing, whatever. And that's pretty much it. I wonder. I think I did that really quick though for you because I know you said to make that big
You
short.
did.
I
You
did that. Okay.
Right, you did. And the truth is, I didn't want you to give out your secrets here because this is part of your business, is what you do. We want people to understand what it is you do and a little insight as to how you do it so that they come to you. It's not my
Yeah.
intention to have you get on the show and give out all the secrets, but let them,
Yeah.
we'll have
Yeah.
that information, we'll put it in the links and people will come to you. The bottom line is that people know that you have figured out ways of making this happen, and obviously it's worked for you.
That's it.
13 productions right now that are cooking. I mean,
Yeah.
you've been on a lot of the big sets and things are working for you. So, again, your life is a testament to that. So, we have the links and they can contact you. So, one question I want to ask you before we part, because again, like I said, one of the big things about this show is we're constantly looking for that international global collaboration and cross-cultural exchange with instruction and ideas. Have passport? Yes.
Yes. For sure.
Passport?
Yes. I
Yes.
stay
So
ready. I
again,
stay
you're
ready.
always ready.
I stay ready.
You stay ready. You stay ready. So as you know, the a lot of our subscribers are global subscribers. A lot of the people we have on the show are global filmmakers. So we look for people all over the world. In fact, just recently talking to this fella from Nigeria, that we're still having conversation. We're gonna work out. Then there, I have another chap from Beijing. Troy was from Beijing also. So all over the globe, we're constantly looking and finding filmmakers who want to collaborate. There are a lot of people in the US who want to run a film somewhere else. You know, they want to get into, like, for instance, Avatar. I don't know if you know where Avatar was filmed?
I don't.
You know, the
Where was the
China,
film? Oh,
Zhangjiajie. It's in the
what?
forest in Zhangjiajie. Yes,
Wow.
yes. It was interesting that someone else I asked that and they said I did not know that. It's like,
Wow.
yeah, Zhangjiajie in the forest of Zhangjiajie.
That's
Yeah, in
amazing.
China.
Cool.
Yeah, amazing when you look at I mean, the last one that they just did, he did that with a lot of CGI.
Mhm.
So I don't know
But that
if
first one,
I know he did, yeah, that version, he did not go
it was
back to
gorgeous. That
Zhangjiajie
first
to
one was
film
gorgeous.
that, but the first one, huh?
It was gorgeous. That first one was just absolutely gorgeous.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, it was beautiful. And the
Yeah.
forest. Because I remember when I saw that film, I thought to myself, this is a beautiful forest. Because,
Yeah.
I grew up in South America, in Guyana, and
Okay.
we share the Amazon with Brazil. And I was in the Amazon, and it's absolutely beautiful,
That,
gorgeous. And so
that,
when I saw Avatar, I thought to myself, did they film this in the Amazon? And so I wanted to know where it was filmed. It was filmed in
I love that.
Zhangjiajie, and at that time I was in China. Yeah, so Zhangjiajie, beautiful place. So
Wow.
interesting. So again, this gets broadcast globally. I'm constantly, that's another thing, just like you. If you want something to happen, you make it happen. I'm always on people's emails and their phone. Hey, we've got this chap, he's doing this, he's writing the script for the Black Superman. I think you'll
Mhm.
be great together, and this sort of thing. I'm constantly making that connection, making it happen. Already talked to Troy about you, talked to David about you. There's another fellow that is going to be on the set next week, and he's doing something very similar. And I won't give it away. I want you to look at the clip. I will send you the clip. But
Okay.
I think, and he's looking to find out how to get funded. So I think that'll be a fantastic
Yeah,
collaboration
for
between the two of
sure.
you. Matter of fact, is he in Ohio? He might be in Ohio. I think he
Really?
might be.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I He's somewhere. Yeah, I think he might be in Ohio. So that
Hmm.
again, for me, I'm constantly pushing a collaboration, you know.
Yeah.
So you sent me, I have your information. I want you to
Mhm.
send me anything you want me to put in the description of the video once I post it online.
For sure.
And is there anything else you want to share before we close off?
I mean, I think we touched on a lot, and I think we did it really well. I
I
literally,
think we did too. Yes.
I just literally just learn to say yes and follow the as you say, move to the rhythm, follow the beat, flow,
Yes.
stop the
Yeah.
grind, and just
Find your
flow.
beat and fun.
And
Yeah.
yep, and
Just flow.
you'll win every time.
Just
And
flow.
this and then the last thing, I know I said that because I like that one to close with, like your beat, but I love what you said earlier when you were saying, just make it happen, stay ready, and just
Right.
make it happen.
Exactly. That's my thing. And and I've said it so much in my life that I just started putting it in my signature in my email. Let's make
Yeah,
it happen because
that,
it just rolls off my tongue. Let's make it happen. People always say, I'll try. No, don't try. Let's make it happen.
that can happen.
What is this try thing? Let's make it happen, you
Yeah,
know. So I want to again thank you for a great, and now this is not the end all. It's not just one time
no,
you'll be on the show. I'm
hope
gonna
not.
be on your phone
I'm
and
gonna be
I'll
sad. I'm gonna be sad if you don't bring me back on this show. Like I gave you all my stuff.
I'll be
Like,
on your
come
phone.
on.
You'll be on the phone on this show again. I'm gonna connect you because I want the conversation with you. I try to get Troy on today, but he has some things going on there. It's a 12-hour time difference, so
Yeah,
he has some things going on. But I want to get you on a set with Troy. I want to get you on a set with Jeremy, which is a chap in Columbus. I want to get you with David. I want to connect you. Once I find people who are doing and wanting to do the same thing. Because all these people I'm talking about are looking in the same direction you're looking. They're getting in that same direction. So it's about getting people collaborating, getting people exchanging ideas. Like you have this phenomenal template of how to get funded.
yeah,
I want you connecting with people, collaborating. Everybody's looking, how do I get funded? So you're
for
the
sure.
man they come to. So we're
Yes.
definitely putting that information out in the video, putting that in the description so everyone can see that. They'll know that in addition to being a phenomenal actor and warrior, you're also a financial coach for whether it's film or anything else. We would
For
definitely
sure.
will have that in the description. All your contact information. I have your number, your email, and everything, and we'll get that out. And I love your attitude of getting on this with me and we working it out together, work out all the bugs. Some things work, but whatever didn't work, it wasn't supposed to work. We have a great show anyway. So thank you
Exactly.
so much again for being on the film scene, and we'll have you again, most certainly. Now, one last thing I want to ask you. Pyro, is that a nickname or is that because pyro in my mind thinks fire?
Well, we need a whole nother hour for that whole conversation. I can actually explain it for a
Okay,
whole hour. But I will say
I
blowing up is a good way of it. Everything that
blow.
I will tell you will
That's
blow
what
up.
I was thinking.
In a good way.
I was thinking you. Yeah, you're the man on fire. You are on fire. I love that. I love that you have that in your name. I absolutely love that. Yeah,
Thank you.
there's a symbolism there. So thank you. The next time we talk, you're gonna have to tell us about that.
For sure.
So
For
thank you
sure.
again. Of course, thank you all everyone for watching, and looking forward. This is our last show that's happening on a Monday. From after today, it's every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We film live here in Atlanta, and with our global guests wherever they are. Jarrell is coming in from Columbus, Ohio, and anywhere in the world. We bring you right in on the set and we film. So thank you, thank you, thank you again, and stay
Thank you.
safe. Tell Michael I say hello. Tell him his number one biggest fan over here said hello. Yeah. But yeah, I want to next time we talk. I want to talk about that film that you're working on, and we'll
For sure.
we'll talk. We'll talk.
Okay.
Thank you. Stay safe. We'll see you again.